For reference, this is Sunday. We just got back on Saturday. So my good buddy Rob came up on Sunday after this long trip and helped me stab the drivetrain in. Here I'm mocking up the engine mounts. I decided to do Ruffstuff Bush DOM sleeves, give it a little bit less vibration and a little bit more cushion. Working on the seat mounts right now, getting those cut out. I'm using a prime weld plasma cutter. Actually, all my stuff is prime weld, and it cut out really good. A little bit of cleanup and ready to start drilling holes and mocking up some stuff. In order to get my transfer case shifters in the right location, I extended them and dash mounted them. I really hate having cables. They just never seem to work. I despise them. So here I'm actually drilling some holes for a rosette weld. The tubing I got was not thick enough. I really didn't like how thick it was, so I put a 3-inch solid stock inside. I'm going to TIG weld some 3/8 fine thread bolts I cut off, and that will be my shifters. Computer ECU mount for this computer. It's not like an LS that everybody makes one, so I'm quickly using some cardboard aided design and making it. Here I'm making a seatbelt tab. It's double plated and mounts as a gusset. Shaves the hour in the darkness. Melchner Motorsports donated this toolbox out of his car. He had 2 of them. So here I'm getting it mocked up in my car, just making sure everything is level. Evil dwells in every alley. Despair has conquered every home. I ripped my Carri Baron out of my last car at least once, so this car I'm going a little overkill. This is a piece of 6-inch 3/16 rectangular steel, and I'm gonna mount the Carri Baron into that, then through bolt it, and I'll show you later how it turned out. stuff. Weld washers, these are the ones that you actually have to drill the hole out bigger, and so I like these better than just putting a weld washer on the outside, because then it thickens the metal all the way through instead of just the outside. As you can see, it goes down in it. I capped it off since this, but I'm trying to get it perfectly aligned, and I didn't take a video, but I stuck one of the dropouts in and then ran a tube up to it to make sure it clearances everything. The exhaust was one of the biggest hurdles as any rig, but this rig, there's really not many options for headers for the 3.9, so your only option is buy really expensive ones, which you might have to modify or get them to fit, which is always not good. Doesn't feel good when you need to dent a very expensive header. So I ended up making my own full exhaust. Here I'm making up the brackets for both of the Odyssey batteries. I'm going to mount one hanging and one mounted on the boat side with some rubber washers. The reason why I'm going with two, I can't fit a full-size battery. Let me rephrase that. I could fit a full-size battery, but it would be in the way of visibility, or it would have to be mounted pretty high, and since these batteries are pretty bomb proof, there's weight that comes with them, so I always like to mount all the weight as possible low in the belly. So that's what I ended up doing. Here I'm making up the skid plate for the front end. I went back and actually made this bush sleeve to the frame too, with some bushings I had laying around. In the next video you'll see that, but we appreciate you watching. Sorry some of the film is kind of grainy. I don't know why. I'm going to try to fix that on the next round. We're still learning here, but we appreciate you watching, and make sure you stick around. So it was a good weekend. We are plugging away on the Buggy. Knocked out. All I've got to do is plasma cut underneath this transition right here. That's the driver's side into the passenger side, so into the muffler. And this is here because it's going to be mounted to the chassis, and the motor and the transmission's poly mounted. I've got to remove the transfer case. When we remove the drivetrain, before I do that, I'm going to remove the transfer case, run the bar across for the trans mount. figured out all of the, this is for coolant, by the way, if you didn't see, I'm going to be running my coolant through this. So gas pedals mounted, master cylinders mounted. I've got to make a rod from there to here. Exhaust nice and high, goes up and around. So that turned out pretty sweet. All of the transmission coolers are in. I run 2 of them, one here, one down there. Transmission external filters there. Sensor might get moved, I'm not sure, depending on wiring and stuff, but that's my temp sensor. That's done. So we're really close to tearing it down. I've got to build a engine skid and tack in my lights for my interior lights. If you don't have interior lights, that's one of the best upgrades. Interior lights. I'm actually probably going to mount a light too out by the engine, just in case if I have to work on it. It's going to have a engine light out there. It's one of those things, you don't need it until you need it. I got to weld wherever this thing went. I got to weld that on yet. But yeah, it's coming along. Waiting on some more parts, but don't really need them for what I'm doing right now. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments, but I'm going to get back to work. Sorry, the filming is kind of sporadic. I'm trying to do my best with my 360 camera. I'm the fabricator, editor, and filmer, so trying to film and weld. Sometimes the camera is in the wrong spot for me to get in there and for you guys to see, but I'm doing my best. I'm definitely going to time lapse the tear down and rebuild. I'm going to just mount it up in the ceiling or something, but I'm going to get back to work.